The Mario Rosenstock Podcast with On Ice, Ireland's premium ice skating experience, where winter memories are made. Visit onice.ie.
GoLoud. Sounds better with us.
Coming up on this episode of the Mario Rosenstock Podcast.
What's the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
Yeah, fuck it. Okay.
It's the most Irish thing I've ever seen you do.
Okay.
The begrudgery of he got it right.
You bollocks.
Fuck it.
Neil Delamere is a man of many talents. His talent for comedy is the one that you probably know him best for. But were you aware that he's also a very talented quizzer? He's been a contestant on The Chase with Bradley Walsh, Beat the Chasers, Celebrity Mastermind, a panellist on QI, and the Dictionary Corner guy, would you believe, on Countdown. He's a very intelligent and funny guy, and he's also a great storyteller. And we chat all about his current tour, Achilles Neil, the other comedians he finds funny and why, what it's like behind the scenes of some of the big UK TV shows that he's a regular on at this stage, and tons more.
In 1997, this was his introduction. In 1997, Ryanair ferried 5,000 passengers across Europe. And in 2007, they carried 20 million passengers across Europe. And I said, of those 20 million, 10 million got to the country they'd originally booked for. Yeah. And some got their bags back. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael O'Leary. And he gets up and he's roundly given me abuse. And he said, do they not build houses in Ireland? And I went, no, we all live underground because we fear British invasion. Right. I am ambitious for the work, I think, and I just got that from you, what you just said there about the impressions and the writing. You're ambitious for the work as well, because that's the only thing you can control. So you can't control if someone rings tomorrow and goes, I want you to be in the sitcom X, Y, and Z. You can't control it. The day you stop getting excited by an idea is the day you stop. And I still get excited by ideas.
My full chat with Neil is coming up right after comedy. Micheal Martin takes the Donal Trump approach to being leader of the country. He's just been sworn in. It's all gone to his head.
Taoiseach, can you just answer a word on...
Good afternoon, everybody.
Taoiseach.
I am delighted to assume the role of Taoiseach for the second time. We live in a changing world. Bold action is required, and required immediately going forward. I have just come off the phone with United States President Donald J. Trump, and the way forward is now clear to me. Today I am putting into force a number of executive orders from the Taoiseach's office. 1. All former disgraced members of Fianna Fáil, including Bertie Ahern, Ray Burke and others, will be pardoned immediately going forward. And furthermore, they will be invited to the Mansion House, where they will be receiving the freedom of Dublin City and a national apology from our people. Bertie Ahern himself has kindly agreed to go for president next year with my full and assured backing. 2. All historical tapes of any misdemeanours by Fianna Fáilers, including P. Flynn's unfortunate ambush on the Late Late Show by the leftist radical scum Gay Byrne, will be deleted and destroyed. 3. I'm appointing Michael Lowry, chairman of the Dáil Ethics Committee, going forward with immediate effect. 4. Through executive order, Micheal O'Leary will be in charge of government efficiency, with special responsibility for transport and health, and especially disability. From today, I decree by executive order that Cork native citizens will be granted diplomatic immunity and immediate pardons for any crimes they carry out now or in the future. All historical crimes will be wiped away from history. Cork people will take their rightful place as the truest and purest expression of Irish genetic heritage going forward. They will park where they like, they will eat where they want, they will drink what they want and do what they want, all for free. Furthermore, a great wall will be built around Cork City to prevent the hordes of Kerry scum attempting to pour over into our borders and poison the blood of our people. It's time to make Ireland great again.
Taoiseach, what is the Taoiseach?
New and exclusive comedy every week on the Mario Rosenstock Podcast. And if you want to get any suggestions to me for characters I could do that I haven't done already, or ideas for sketches that you'd love to see put into operation, give me a bell. It's mariorosenstock@gmail.com. I read them all and I get back to most of them. I'd also like to thank this week our sponsor, On Ice. Ireland's premium ice skating experience returns and has been returning all this festive season, all throughout November, December and January. Its locations are in Dundrum and Swords in Dublin, the Marina Market in Cork, as well as locations in Waterford, Limerick and Galway. I couldn't think of a better hobby to start, a more vigorous, fresh pursuit that you could get out there with the family. It's a real family thing to do as well. Grab your tickets now at onice.ie, and thanks a million to On Ice for getting involved in the world of podcasting and becoming our sponsor recently. Thank you very much, On Ice. And anybody who's interested in ice skating, get out there. It would be a brilliant thing to get involved with. Okay, let's get across to my interview with Neil Delamere. His new tour is called Achilles Neil. Very clever name. And Neil is very good at coming up with clever names for his tours. And in fact, he's a bit of an expert at it. So that's where we started.
So just to get this out of the way, first of all, you were in Dontlour last night for Achilles Neil.
Yes.
Okay, so I like people who actually have the
stupid names.
No, to take the fucking time.
Okay.
To actually put a name on it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you actually make an effort.
I make an effort. I mean, it's like describing something. You know, when somebody says to you, "Why is it called Achilles Neil?" or "Why is it called the Creme de la Mer?" or "Fresh Prince of Delamere" was my favourite.
Well, my favourite was Creme de la Mer.
Did you like that?
Yeah, because it has a kind of the cream of Delamere.
Yeah, but also that was a kind of very expensive. I'm surprised we didn't get sued.
Well, it was like Mairead Ronan used to be able to buy it.
Yeah.
She used to go, how's it? It was 270 quid.
Yeah.
Pop like.
Yeah, Mairead knew people who knew people who knew people.
Yeah.
That's a great thing about Mairead.
Yeah,
one of the many great things about Mairead. But it's like you. So they say to you, "What's your show called for next year when you're playing the Olympia or Vic Street?" And you go, "This is what it's called." Generic title.
What's that about?
That can be anything by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
It's like name this child. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, or so just name it something.
Yeah.
So I call this one Achilles Neil, and then I kind of thought because you know your Achilles heel is your weaknesses. Like comedians are always talking about the stuff that annoys them and stuff. So I said something will be able to. I'll be able to get it into the wheelhouse. So, so it's been good fun so far.
And Creme de la Mer was another one. Fresh Prince of
Delamere. Yeah, and then I ran out one, so I started going because I would say Delamere.
Yeah.
So Delamere Mortal.
Yeah.
And
not bad.
What was the one?
I liked them.
Neil by Mouth was pretty good.
That's good.
I was happy with it.
That's
so
good.
I'm now on my first name.
Neil by Mouth is a pun on nil by mouth,
yes,
which is to do with being in surgery, isn't it? And you
don't
can't
eat
take
anything.
Food.
Yeah. I tried Delamerium. I was happy enough with that.
I like delirium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delamerium tremens.
Yeah,
But then I did a little straw
I should
poll.
do Delamerium O'Callaghan.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Genuinely Delamerium.
Seriously, genuinely, that's very good. So you kind of, but people didn't know what delirium tremens was.
Yeah.
I thought loads of people
the
would,
DTs,
but a lot of people didn't.
Christy used to sing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
How the man got on the surfboard after 14 pints of stout.
Yes, but I don't know what the next one's going to be called. Oh no, Reinventing the Neil is the next one.
Reinventing the Neil.
Yes.
Ah, very good.
So,
or Neil on the head.
Yeah, yes. Oh, that's
not bad. I just like.
I like that.
That's not, surely you thought of that before.
No, sexual kneeling was the one I turned down. One of my friends suggested that. I said
sexual
no.
kneeling.
Yeah,
that's good. Neil on the head isn't too bad.
I do like that. You've hit the Neil on the head.
It's a joke. So you
love it.
As in, you got your thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be explaining. No, but as I say, I like people who name stuff because it shows that they've actually put in the effort.
Yeah.
So I rember Paul Howard when we was doing Ross O'Carroll Kelly. He used to take great pride.
Oh yeah, Breaking Dad and all those ones.
Breaking Dad.
Yeah.
I would have had a favourite one of those, which was I don't know if you're that familiar with all the names.
No,
but,
not all of them.
Yeah, so I
Don't Look Back in Anger was another one. I like
that's
that
a newish one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. Wouldn't be near my favourite. My favourite one was about where Ross had a baby and he regrets that having the baby.
Right. Yeah.
And he regrets that he didn't use, for example, contraception.
Yeah.
And the fucking name of the book was called Shoulda Got Out at Sydney Parade.
Really?
That come on.
I like that. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, you're dead.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, you're dead inside. There's something wrong with you.
Hilarious. Because you have to, because it's so, in a way, it's such an ignorant joke.
Yeah.
Because anybody outside South Dublin wouldn't get it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But isn't that what he's good at?
That's what he's good. But he's also saying, anybody outside of South Dublin, I don't want you to get it.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, yeah, rise. But somebody said to me that years ago. I think maybe it was David O'Doherty. He was talking about. I think it was David. Now we were talking about doing jokes about your local area and stuff like this, and he said to me. I hope I'm not attributing to somebody else, but it does sound like something that Dave would say. It is if he was talking about something. If he was talking about his town and he was in Australia, people didn't really get it. But if he went really local, really, really local, almost to your neighbourhood or your street, that was kind of more gettable. People kind of understood that more. So by Paul Howard being deliberately kind of obtuse and deliberately small, he goes, get it or don't, you know.
Get it or don't, and your audience will come with you.
Yes, exactly.
And don't patronise your audience.
I love people who do that. I've always loved. And the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is great for that. It's like lads, and by lads I mean lads and girls, who go... you have to sometimes explain it to non-Irish people that lads means everybody. Yeah. Lads who go, this is what I do. And,
imagine how much explaining the two Johnnies have to do. Not again. Look, lad. Oh, and sorry, mate. You just said lad there now.
Yeah. You can't just get on board.
Look, lad. Lads means everybody. Lad means lad.
Yeah.
Now there's another means lad as well.
But that's a different thing.
Oh, that's a different lad. Sorry, I don't know what lad is what. Yeah.
But I definitely think I admire people who just stick to their guns.
Sure.
And then
actually, I was
audiences love it.
I was reading, not to, I know you probably surprised, you think I'm not prepared, but I actually am relatively prepared.
Okay.
So I was actually reading some notes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, the reason you said I like people who stick to their guns is Kevin McAleer.
Yes.
You like Kevin McAleer, the comedian.
Oh, McAleer is brilliant.
And he sticks to his guns.
He does. And I did a gig with McAleer once and it was a kind of a tough gig. And I thought, and Jim Owen's the same. I thought, this is going to be interesting to see how these guys do what they do. Because what they do is come to me or don't. McAleer was it's so good. Like, it's so well crafted and so well written that that they had no choice but to come to him. And he didn't change a thing. He did not change his intonation or his speed or his rhythm.
It's a standoff in a way.
It's a standoff. And after about a minute, it's very obvious to the audience is this is what we're doing for the next 20 minutes. So get on board or don't.
In a way, all
Brilliant
comedy is like, though, isn't it? In a way, all comedy is a standoff between... It's a sort of a standoff between the person on stage and the audience. It's you and them, and you've got to bring them around to your point of view.
Yeah.
Or at least to identify what that point of view is.
Yeah.
And they can smell fear.
They can, but you might have several golf clubs in your bag or several weapons. Let's go with weapons. So if it's in a standoff and you try your shotgun and it doesn't work, you got your throwing star. And then if your throwing star doesn't work, you get your épée. And they're surprised by an épée. And then you go for a foil. They're surprised you have two small swords. And then you go for a sabre. And then they're going, hold on, what's this? And then you get a cannon. So you try 6 or 7 different things because over the years you've built different skill sets. So you have... So if you go out... That's the one thing I think that people who don't do stand-up don't necessarily understand about stand-up is that we are reading you as much as you were reading us. Yeah. So we're going, oh, okay, they didn't like that kind of thing with a bit of edge. Oh, then I did something physical. Oh, they really liked the kind of physical stuff. Or they didn't like that, but they liked the political stuff. And if you do loads and loads of gigs and have loads and loads of different types of material and you can pick and choose, you can edit and you can tailor the gig for the people sort of thing. What I love is when someone like McAleer goes out and goes, this is what I do. And I don't have an épée and I don't have a sword and I don't have a shotgun. What I do have is a missile. This stuff is so good. It's a missile. Yeah. So I'm not changing because you will be blown away by this. Yeah. And that's what I really, really love.
That even bit of the épée and the sword and the cannon and everything, that could be a really good meta bit for your yourself. A kind of go meta on yourself.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, sometimes people say that you don't. They say that should be a bit, and you never even think of it being a bit, and then it does become something later on.
So it's a bit like you go on stage and sorry, I was something in my head there now. I'm trying to get around to it again, but you go on stage and you have to show that you have to show in a way that you're not afraid of them. In fact, you kind of love being there.
Of course.
Well.
Ah, yeah.
But
that changes at different parts of your career as well, of course.
But one of the things that like people might come up to me and say, and I'm sure that it's nothing, it's not particular to me, it's to anybody who's on stage, and they would go, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Right? Not my act.
Yeah.
How do you get up there?
Yeah.
And I love talking about these things.
Yeah.
And I love drilling into them. I'll tell them anytime. I'll tell them, hang on, what's the gig? And he went, well, when you get up there and you're in Olympia or something or whatever, and there's 1,200 people in the room, and they don't know how many people are in the room. They go, what, there's 400 people there? I go, no, it's 1,200. He says, that many?
Yeah.
Right? And I go, yeah. And you go, they go, how do you do it? And I went, okay, look, just step back from this a minute. When I've committed to doing this, I have a load of artillery, you called it, epes and foils, that I have ready to go. But more than that, I'm coming out with a feeling in my heart. And the feeling is all of those people have paid 40 quid to see me. And that means months ago, they said, he's my Friday night on October 23rd.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting a babysitter.
Yeah.
We're going to have 3 pints and we're going to maybe even have something to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm going, that is already me home and hosed.
Yeah.
If I come out and if I don't have leprosy when I come out, they'll be like, Jesus, he's healthy, he's grand.
Yeah.
Right?
What a low bar.
What a low bar.
He doesn't
But
have
go out with
leprosy.
the low bar. He doesn't have, his arms are intact.
Yeah.
They're not falling off.
Yeah.
Right? And I come out and I go, hello? And they go, his voice is there. That's all he needs. His voice is very important to him.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a good night.
Yeah.
And so that's it. So give yourself, so people don't really understand that.
Yeah, but you're...
Harder to go into a corporate now.
Oh, well, of course.
Bank of Ireland, I'm not this cunt.
I think he had an AIB account. I haven't seen him in the branch lately now.
Turned him down for mortgage last year.
He comes in as different people. The whole reason he was doing...
He comes in as different people, and I gave none of them mortgage.
Yeah, he had to be 12 people to get a mortage. He had to get 12 different mortgages.
I combined the income of Michael Flatley with Ray Darcy.
Yes. The only reason he got into impressions in the first place was to get a mortgage. He needed to get 12 different deposits. But that changes different points of your career. I have a theory. I don't know how much it holds up, but I think there's a little bit to it. I think sometimes, particularly in the UK, where you could be closing a club and then you do your first kind of tour over there. Like here, we used to get you be on doing the stuff in the morning, you'd be huge as Mario Rosenstock, and you go out and you would do your tour. Or you maybe get on the panel or something like that, and you go out and you do your tour. Whereas in the UK, I think there's lots of people who can do a tour, but also would be closing clubs and all the rest. I think a lot of those people are almost at their very funniest on their first tour, because they're still in the Comedy Store, closing the Comedy Store at midnight. So they're still catering to people who haven't given them that advantage that you talked about, who don't know them. So they're still going out every night and convincing an audience who are starting from zero. Because you were starting in the Olympia from 10. Well, not 10, from 5. People have paid all that money and I know them, I like them. So, we're prepared to laugh. You don't have to convince them. I often think those people on their first tour, they're doing a 200-seater in Nottingham or something like this.
They're fighting for their life.
But the people at Nottingham who've paid to see their tour love them and are taking a chance on them, but they know them. But they still have the skill sets from the next night. They haven't rested on their hours because the next night they're doing the Comedy Store. Yeah. So they're bringing everything. They're bringing this sharpness of convincing people every night that don't know them, but also they're getting that 5 out of 10 because they're starting.
Okay. Let me ask you about TV, because you've done a lot of TV recently in the last 2 or 3 years. Really interesting TV. Sort of the quiz stuff has been really interesting.
Yeah,
that's really worth talking about. Let me see. One of them is the Bradley Walsh stuff, the chase. So you did the chase, but it didn't come out for a year and a half afterwards.
2 years.
Go on.
Yeah, 2 years. So I did it with Helen Lederer from Blackadder and the great comedy actress Ab Fab and all the rest. Jamie Borthwick from EastEnders and Jasmine Hartman from Place in the Sun. And it didn't come out for 2 years. And I was like...
amazing.
But I was looking at them going, none of you better be caught in a sex scandal in the next year and a half or 2 years. this went really well. I really hope it goes out. If it breaks, make sure it breaks after this TV show airs. That's all I'm saying.
Brilliant.
But they were all lovely people, and it was great. It was great fun to do. It's such an iconic show.
Yeah, for people who don't know, you're very good at quizzes. You're a quizzer.
I'm pretty good, but I'm better than average. But I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a quizzer. Like my brother is the quizzer of the family,
and
like he is won that the All Ireland there.
Yeah. Like I used to do when I was in my 20s and just drinking all the time.
Yeah.
And trying to go, oh yeah, there's free cocktails on Tuesday night in the Mad Hatter in Blackrock.
Straight in.
Right, straight in, right, £2 for a cocktail, and there's a quiz down in the Breffni.
Yeah.
And so we get down there and we'd fancy ourselves like educated and stuff, right? So we would be there, and after the 9th round, it's Mario and Nick's team, or whatever we were called, 78 points in second place. But in first, it's the Butchers.
Yeah.
Went, the fucking Butchers.
But the Butchers do this all the time.
So the Butchers, they arrive in backstage in their white coats. And
Yeah.
we have these guys.
Yeah.
100 out of 100.
Well, this is
Like ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, this is the thing. People, so the chase went really well, and people were kind of going, "Oh, you could be a chaser," and you're like, "No, you couldn't." These lads are different gravy because. But I do think that they go off and they train. Well, I know they train. I was talking to someone like
train.
they train. They do laps. Junior B, the equivalent. So like they learn every single capital city in the world. They learn January the 3rd is what star sign. They learn. They literally learn all those things, and they enjoy it.
Now that you say January the 3rd is famous a date for loads of things in history.
Yeah.
So they can go through every date.
Yeah, it's Mel
January the 3rd was the Battle of Austerlitz or whatever.
Yeah,
it was also Napoleon's.
Yeah, and they like that, and they have brains that kind of
sieve. Like sponge.
Yeah, sponge.
Not
Sieve. Yeah. I was wondering where you were going with that.
And in last place, it's the sieves.
Yes. The lads who couldn't work out to open the door into the pub, it's the sieves. So, but also, I was talking to Dara Ennis about this because he was our chaser. He was going... when he was becoming a chaser, he was saying to me that there was other people that doing a similar thing to him, and he felt comfortable in front of camera. So some people are even better
on
answering questions, but they can't calm down. Exactly. Whereas all those chasers are so good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And Bradley is extraordinary. Isn't
lovely
he?
Man.
Well, no, he's more than lovely because he is a bit of a phenomenon.
Oh, God, yeah.
He is. He's nailed something in British culture.
He's very likeable to a vast swathe of people, which is very unusual these days, isn't it?
It is.
It's very much kind of, are you one of us or one of them these days?
Yeah.
Whereas he's just, cheeky chappy.
Yeah.
Kind of from a different era almost.
Cheeky chappy, but not idiotic either. You could see that he's smartish.
Yeah.
As a persona is smartish.
Yeah, he is as smart as you. He is prepared to look foolish, which means he's pretty smart.
Yeah,
I think.
And he's kind of good looking.
Yeah.
So he's kind of attractive, but he's not intimidatingly attractive.
And he was a very good footballer, and he was an engineer for Rolls Royce. I think he had a professional contract, Brentford or Crystal Palace or something like that. So I think there's a certain element of that. Like he's quite comfortable around people. Yeah. He's quite comfortable around different classes of people, which of course is so important in the UK. They're obsessed with class. Yeah. Which they will admit themselves. Yeah. So I think he has a huge appeal to a huge amount of people, which of course is exactly what something like ITV would want. They would test all those people, see how popular they were and all that. I don't think RTE does that now necessarily, but he's very good. And there's a bit in the chase where I don't know if people will be interested in mechanics of this, but the first 3 people have already gone, they've built up a few quid, and then you've built up a few quid, and if you've done okay in your kind of build up a few quid round, take a little break while they reset everything, and you know that you're going to get an offer, and the producers come out and go, you're going to get a big offer probably. You don't have to take it. And of course, you don't have to take it, but it's better television if you take it, and I think they want you to take it, But he was really good in that instance, because I'm standing there looking at, obviously, if you go closer to the chaser, if people don't know the show, you've less of a chance of getting back with the money and all the rest. And you're kind of standing there, and he was just really cool, and he was really helpful in that scenario because I didn't know what to do, and he was like, "Listen, there's already 3 people there. They're already going to get back with their money. You've a shot. It's a shot to nothing if you really want to go for it, So I thought it was really nice. He was just sound, nice advice for that. So then, of course, you go, yeah, listen, I'll take the big offer. And then it's better television, and you can feel the audience in the room get really excited because suddenly there's 120 grand on the table and not 16 or 17 on the table.
Yeah.
You know?
You exchanged some. There was some story about house building or something with him.
Yeah.
Was that? I haven't heard this one, so you're laughing.
Yeah. So he said. So I got a question wrong, and it was something like Taylor Wimpey builds and sells what in the UK, and because I don't live in the UK, I just kind of went, it didn't jump into my head. And it's houses, okay? And then he said, do they not build houses in Ireland? And I went, no, we all live underground because we fear British invasion. Right? And then I realised what he was actually saying was, do they...
Yeah.
That company not build houses in Ireland.
Yeah.
Not do they not build houses in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then I was saying to my friend, I took that up the wrong way. And he went, yeah, completely the wrong way. Completely.
And did that go out and tell you?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
It didn't.
Why wouldn't they put that in? It's just a natural
Time
edit. It wasn't a PC edit.
No. I don't think so. No, because it was good crack. And he's up for the crack. Like he got Calpol and Cupernall mixed up on the show. And it was like Cupernall is sponsor Switch Awards, and it was the National Shed of the Year or something like this. And he was like, what am I thinking of? And somebody said, oh, it's Calpol you're thinking of. And he goes, and I was like, geez, I'm surprised they haven't taken your kids off you. If you're giving them Cupernall, go take a bit of Ronsil, bring down your temperature. It does exactly what it says in the tin. And if they'll put me saying to Bradley Walsh, they should take your kids off you. Yeah. They'll air whatever. So they're good crack.
Was there any question that you've got? This is a kind of a random question.
Yeah.
But is there any question that you got that you surprised yourself and you went, Jesus? In other words, it shows you that sometimes we have stuff in our brain that we didn't think we had.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happens in those...
You know what you know, yeah?
Yeah.
But sometimes you know what you don't know.
Or you have a good guess.
Very good
what's
guess.
really important in those shows is that if you get one or two questions right at the start, you
you're
calm
loose
down.
and relaxed and your brain is open.
And your brain is open and you listen
We
to
don't know the
questions.
science of what's happening to your brain, but we know that if you get one or two right at the beginning.
Yeah.
You've heard people on the radio.
Yeah.
And the person on the host ends like Ian or Ian Dempsey or Larry Gogan would end up saying they didn't suit you. The person got blank.
Yeah, the
blank.
adrenaline spikes and you don't hear anything.
Yeah, and then the other way is the adrenaline spikes and you hear everything.
Yeah, I did a show years ago for RT2 and we went in a centrifuge, right? And it spins around, and it was the Polish Institute of Aviation Medicine. And if you got to 5.6 Gs, you could be a fighter pilot. And I did 5.3 Gs on the way around. And the doctor says, you've done 5.3 Gs. And I said, let's go again. Because I want to say I could be a fighter pilot. And the doctor said, no, we're not going again. And I said, well, I know my own body, I think. I think I can get, I know you're a doctor, but I can get to 5.6 Gs. And he goes, well, your heartbeat was nearly 200 beats a minute.
Yeah, which is like...
I was like, okay. And he goes, and you weren't responding to what we were saying to you. And I said, but you weren't saying anything to me. And he goes, yes, we were. So he was talking to me.
Yes.
But the adrenaline was spiked so high. You actually don't hear anything.
Yes.
Or you're picking bits and pieces of words out.
Yeah.
So if you do the quiz and you get your first 3 or 4 wrong, adrenaline spikes, you literally don't hear.
Right, I have to hit you with a quiz question then.
Oh, go on.
Well, you started at Centrifuge.
Yeah.
Which Bond film featured...
Moonraker.
Yay! Well done. That was just off the top of my head.
Was it?
Well, of course. How could I have that prepared?
No, but was Moonraker the answer?
Yeah, because it was Roger Moore.
Yeah.
And Moonraker.
Yeah.
And so they go around and he nearly clocks it at the end.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so you didn't answer my question though about, can you remember the question?
Which one did you know?
Was there any question that you asked and you went, Jesus, fair play to me?
The Daddy 100 is a term in which sport? The Daddy 100.
Can you spell that?
Daddy and 100.
The Daddy 100?
Yeah, you would score a Daddy 100 in which sport?
Darts.
Cricket.
Oh, shit.
But I didn't know that. But I had just gotten 5 right in a row.
So you just guessed it?
Yeah.
You just said cricket?
Yeah.
You went, I'm in England. I'll guess cricket.
Yeah, well, I just...
Fair play to you, Neil. Yeah, How the fuck did you know that?
Yeah, but there's also ones that you look back and go, oh, God, I should have gotten that right, so...
I got one right years ago. I got one right years ago.
Yeah.
It was the clincher it was the clincher. It was a pub quiz.
Yeah.
All sorts of people like Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews were playing.
Wow.
They were good.
Yeah.
Ian O'Doherty, the journalist.
Oh, I know him, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be good now, right?
Yeah.
Loads of people. And there was about 20 teams and I think Tony Fenton was the... How are you doing?
Yeah, brilliant.
And so we had a bit of a crack, a big screen and a few things would come up on screen. And it came down to a tiebreaker between me and I think maybe Ian's team and Ian Dempsey, myself and Ian Dempsey and The Breakfast Show and Ian O'Doherty's team. And it came down to it. And Tell me if you know the answer, right?
Okay.
It's not that hard, but it's just that nobody knew it.
Yeah.
But I came out with the answer, and it was one of those ones which none of us have ever forgotten.
And you look like a legend.
Yeah, kind of the legend answer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it quite at the beginning.
Oh,
so
you worked your way into it.
Kind of,
Very satisfying.
Yes, so they kind of went, the clincher. Tony went, the clincher. Who directed The Exorcist? Right? Everybody went, you could just hear everybody drop in the room.
Yeah.
Even the Lenahans and all those, right?
Yeah.
I was just staring at it. Sorry, it's just come to me. Do you know it? Because it came to me. It's one of those ones that came to me, and I don't know how it came to me.
No, I don't know it.
And I just went, and everybody's there, just the heads down. You know that moment in the quiz where the head's down and you're just scratching the paper and everybody's going, and then you go, oh. Do you know that one? And nobody can see your face. And then you go, I have it.
Yeah.
And they all look up at you. What? William Friedkin. What? William Friedkin. Right? And they go, are you serious?
Like you were possessed,
yes. Like I was possessed. and are you sure about? I'm fucking sure. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Where you know it.
Well, you don't want someone arguing with you.
No, but the one where you know you're right.
Yeah, in your soul.
You just know it, even though you kind of don't know why.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones. You might have, maybe I was possessed.
They're the most satisfying.
And the answer is William Friedkin. Yes!
Your brother sucks cocks in hell. Okay, Mario. Okay,
Sounds
Mario.
better when Tony said it.
Everything sounded
He said it on the radio the
when
next
Tony
day,
said
which was great.
Really?
Yeah, your brother sucks cocks in hell.
I thought you were going to say...
No. That was you too. Your brother sucks cocks in hell. So Bradley, really nice. Any other anecdotes behind the scenes in the chase?
Dara Ennis really lovely as well, because Dara Ennis was the chaser, and obviously you're aware on that show that all the other people are pretty well known, and you're coming out and they might not know who you are, and so it's lovely to have Dara Ennis go, oh, I've been to his gigs and he's really good, and we've been Vicar Street and all that. So it was just a very sweet man to do that. You know?
Right. What about? I'm fascinated genuinely by this idea of that. I think the audience, my listeners, would be to a certain extent as well, as long as you don't take too long to tell them.
Yeah.
What's it like on something like QI, where I look at QI and I go, I'm nervous watching it because I'm going. I see, let's say, Tommy or yourself on it or something, and I'm going, okay, what's the vibe here though? Because if I was appearing on that, I'd kind of like I'd be appearing on it with some people I think are really, really funny, and also grooved in what they do, and I wouldn't want to let myself down, and I go, what if the first thing I say is shite? I'm gone then, because like I can't come back from that. So
you mean with the live audience or with the audience
just with
at home?
The program, because I'm watching the TV and I'm going, how is the process? How do you get in to do your bit? How do you?
Well, you don't have a bit. The whole point is you go along. You that is one where you don't prep.
Right,
you don't prep. So they basically will say to you, so this season is the V season. So they're every season, next season will be TUVW. It will be all W answers. So we did a show and it was entitled Vulgar, and that's it. You go in and...
So the theme is vulgar.
The theme is vulgar. And the one before was... I can't remember what the one before was. The episode was...
Vulva.
Could be voluptuous or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
That's interesting. But we both went with those two.
Yeah. You went with voluptuous and I went with vulva.
Yeah. Well, I thought yours is less classy.
Yeah,
I was going with Brigitte Bardot.
Yeah,
but that's... and so you don't prep. And they do it, a nice little thing. When I've only done it once. The first time you ever do it, they've Sandy Tuxfake got a remote controlled car, and a little truck came out with a card in it, and I had to read a fact from the card. And I think it was just to get you and the audience on the same wavelength, because it is one of those shows that.
And you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I've always loved that show, but there are very few shows now that will introduce someone to an audience that they've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And that is one of those shows, one of those panel shows, which is a real shame. You need panel shows, I think, because panel shows will introduce people to an audience that the audience doesn't know. And, so Mario Rosenstock is on QI. An English audience doesn't know who Mario Rosenstock is. Mario Rosenstock does well. They go, oh, I like him. It's the Mario Rosenstock show on BBC where you have to carry everything, you know. And I was on with Sandy, and they know Sandy, and they know Alan, and they know Chris McCausland, and they know Carrie Ed. So there's less pressure on you, you know. And
just quickly, sorry, I'm not trying to speed you up. I'm just trying, because I have so much else I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So, Celebrity Mastermind as well. Did you, what was your topic?
I picked the Vikings.
Cool, because you did a show on the Vikings.
Yeah, well, they rang me and said, what do you want to do? And I went, Red Hugh O'Donnell, please, the Gaelic chieftain, because there's no sources for... there's one or two sources, I think.
So you had all the
I was like,
names.
I think there's very little on that. I'm not sure. And they went, a bit niche for UK TV. And I went, the Vikings, because I really wanted to do it. Right. And they went, yeah. I was like, idiot. 400 years across however many continents.
Right.
Whereas one of the other people did The Wolf of Wall Street, the film. As a specialist subject, I know, yeah.
I'd nearly get that myself.
Yeah.
I've watched it about 5 times.
Well, there you go. You probably would have won. You would have won Celebrity
And
Mastermind.
it's easy to watch because it's so bloody good.
Yeah.
It's a Scorsese classic.
Exactly. Leonardo DiCaprio and
Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Who apparently...
Scene stealing Matthew McConaughey.
Yes. Where he's playing his own chest.
Bum.
You could have done it, man. That was fun. That, I was talking to a guy recently who worked on Celebrity Mastermind. The guy who came up with Celebrity Mastermind was a POW, for an RAF POW, and he invented a game to replicate an interrogation.
Aye.
So do you know the whole name, rank, serial number? That's matched by the specialist subject, the name, and where you're from, or whatever
it's
it is.
Military format.
Yeah, and the person was Magnus Magnusson, was originally called the interrogator. He wasn't meant to be seen originally. The spotlight. I mean, that's what the guy.
Did you ever see the spitting image piss take of the Mastermind?
No.
Oh, and your name, please. I'm the Ministry, or the Israeli Foreign Affairs Minister.
Yeah.
Which is the most racist country in the world? South Africa? No, Israel. But he goes on. Every answer is really hard hitting.
Really,
really hard hitting. What about the UK business? Because, that establishes, they see you on TV. What happens then? When you are on TV in the UK and people, let's say, like you and you get a good response to it, and then does that open kind of a door for you then to be able to then...
Sure.
I presume then you can get a booker and the booker or an agent and the agent goes, listen, I think now you're ready to play these seaters and everything that happens. Yeah.
I have an agent over there, and I had one for years, and it depends on what you want to do it.
Yeah. And how much do you want to do it?
The older I get, the more I am conservative with my time, and the more I think I love. The great thing about Ireland is you can be home every single night from a gig, and that's pretty much what I do. You know. And you have a family life, and you have a life. So you work at the end of the day, which people might think, oh God, that's that weird. You're going to be out all night. But actually, in Ireland, you can be home and you can have a life. So I think now I would take touring in the UK, and I am doing a tour in the UK, but it's very much on my own terms. So I would go
when you want to do it, and
I would go. So my agent said to me, "Yeah, I'm just working on the routing for your tour, because that's what they do. So you'll do Bath, and then you'll do Bristol, because they're near each other, and Cardiff, and in a relative area over there." I'm just like, dude, not interested in the routing, because I'm going to be flying in and trying to get home that night. So can we start at 7 o'clock, because there's a flight at 11 o'clock?
Right.
So. Because then you have a life.
So you then go, I'll do the routing.
You go, let's do it this way. And he was laughing. He goes, because this is a different kettle of fish,
Exactly.
So it
suits yourself.
It suits yourself. But also when you have a tour here and you've done lots of bits and pieces. But it does open doors, and Radio 4 opens doors, and 5 Live opens doors, and all you need is a few people from this, and a few people from that, and a few people from that, and then suddenly you've got 400 people in a room in a Leicester Square Theatre,
Yeah. What's that? That's a nice theatre, isn't it?
Lovely theatre,
good space.
Yeah. So I'm doing there in February, and
excellent.
And that's sold out, and then we're doing it again in November.
Excellent.
And,
well done.
So, but that's
brilliant. And that's
it's one
kind
of
of
those
Leicester
things.
Square. You say 400 seater, but it's kind of a high profile one, though, isn't it?
It's a relatively high profile
cool
one.
one.
Yeah, it is a kind of a cool one. Lots of comics go there.
Yeah, like I think Stuart Lee would do it now.
Yeah, and Richard Herring's podcast is from there. Yeah. It's one of those things that everything is atomized now, so you probably have to do more things to break into the average punter's consciousness. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, you talk to Jamie from EastEnders, and EastEnders was getting 15, 20 million people in 1985 and 1986, before he was born. And now, man, Strictly might get 9 million. The finalist Strictly would get 9 million, but lots of other things would get 2 or 3 million, in a country that has 70 million people. So I think you would have to do... If you were to try and crack a big market the old way, you would have to do more than you used to have to do. But the other way is you do a podcast, so you know you can do sketches online or whatever, like Four Lambs and a Hog.
Podcast is
you know what I mean?
a really good way of going live as well.
Yeah.
And podcast now it's funny, podcast sales live are amazing.
Yeah, and you can
You're
play
going,
the
"Hang
words.
on, I've been busting my ass doing comedy for years,
Yeah.
chiseling every single word, syllable,
Yeah.
and now you're going, I'm having a chat with some goon, and you don't even you don't even know who I'm going to be chatting with. You're going to turn up.
Yeah, they're just like you. Yeah.
Or do you even like me? Or are you going to be just out there to see the interview?
But there's a weird.
They feel very comfortable going to see a podcast.
Yeah, and it's a parasocial relationship, and it's you're literally in someone's ears in their brain, so it's a different relationship. Yeah, so people.
But it's fascinating. I mean, like look at Vogue and Joanne.
Yeah.
Being able to do the 3 Arena and all this, and I couldn't believe it when I first heard it. Are you saying it's just 2 chairs?
Yeah.
And 9,000 people.
Yeah.
And they went, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, bastards. Honestly, you know. But anyway, fantastic. I think they're great. By the way, I love their. I just love their. I love their get up and go. You know, I love that grab it, that thing of just not being afraid and just. Joanne is. I'm a big fan of Joanne, and I was years ago.
Yeah.
I loved her stuff on not wanting children. I love people who do bits, as Bill Maher would call them, on stuff that isn't necessarily popular with a vast majority of people.
Yeah.
Like somebody who comes out and goes, by the way, I hate fucking kids, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like kids.
Yeah.
I never like kids. I never want kids.
Yeah.
And Mark, for example, hates children. And it's very funny when he goes on about it. But Joanne did this bit years ago where she didn't want any children and all this sort of stuff. I always thought it was very funny the way she really owned it. You know?
It's about authenticity, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about like
and her South Dublin accent.
But like, you know, you look at Bill Maher and you're looking at Kevin Bridges, or you're looking at Michael McIntyre or any of those people. You're going, that's what they're like. I think that's what they're like. What they're like on stage is what they're like in real life, and people then really like that.
Yeah, I think McIntyre is truly extraordinary.
He's phenomenal. He gets a lot of bad press.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I think that's a load of rubbish.
When I say bad press, I don't mean from the press. I mean from within the industry.
I know he does.
And you're just going, all right, if you don't like him, would you like to follow him?
Yeah.
Because he's great. He's brilliant.
Are you insane?
Yeah.
I mean, why does he get bad press? Because, you know...
some of it's envy. A lot of it's envy.
Of course it's envy, but it's also, he's brilliant.
He's absolutely brilliant.
Like, how can you just deny brilliance?
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
So no one is forcing anybody to go to any of these people.
Yeah.
The reason they go to them is because he's great.
Yeah, but great. Exactly. And I mean, you say, him and his stupid observational comedy.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever opened your fridge and gone, it's the same cheese again or whatever? Yeah, but he's taken that to the next level, obviously.
Yeah.
And, okay, it's not Stuart Lee, who I absolutely love.
Yeah.
It's not Stuart Lee.
But there's room for everybody.
There's room for everybody.
Yeah.
You know? And I cannot stand, you know, let's say the fans of Stuart Lee would be hating the fans of Michael McIntyre. It's again down to what you said, everybody polarised and atomized at this stage, you know?
Yeah, I wonder though. I think there's a lot of people who do like both. And I think, I don't know, a lot of the time you're just pressed to be part of a gang, aren't you?
Sure. Press ganged.
Yes.
Are you, have you done Graham Norton?
No.
That would be good for you, I think.
I'd love to do that.
I think you on a couch with 3 big celebrities. I think you'd
talk rubbish to them.
No, I think you'd know where to get in.
Yeah,
there.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is.
Show?
I've seen Jason Byrne do it.
Oh yeah,
and it was good.
Yeah, he's great.
But I think you could do it as well. That thing of you just bide your time and then
you sit and you wait.
Sit and you wait.
Yeah,
like a little
Greg Davis,
like a leopard in the trees, right? And then you're going. Your heart is 200, right? And you're going. De Niro's just now started a story about Pacino, and you come in and goes, let me tell you about Al Pacino.
yeah.
Sorry, Eden Derry wants to come
not
in.
Al Pacino.
Sorry, Eden Derry wants to come in there.
yeah. Al Pacino is the name of the chipper in Eden Derry, and that's how you get in there.
And then they edit the bit where De Niro goes, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I give you nothing. Just stares at you, the raging bull
I don't know why
stare.
they keep bringing De Niro on. But Graham, because he never gives anything.
Does he not?
Oh no, Jesus, no! It's impossible. And he does about 3 hours.
Does he?
Yeah, they do about 3 hours to get the 1 hour edit, or the 50-minute edit.
Yeah.
And even when they bring on it, there's nothing happening.
That's the best of the 3 hours.
Yeah,
but why does he say yes to it then?
I think he's getting a bit more in his old age. I think he's getting a bit softer, and he's except about Trump. But
Hugh Grant is amazing in those things but again, he's
so
just
funny.
He's getting to the authenticity side. He's pleasing no one, and he's being Hugh Grant.
I don't give a bollocks anymore. I'm a prick.
And someone says to him, "Do you have, was it Drew Barrymore or something like that?" She says to him, "Do you have a gratitude journal?" Because Don't be absurd.
Oh my God.
Don't be absurd. What are you talking
So
about?
the worst one I ever saw was when they asked him, what are you wearing on the red carpet?
Yeah.
And just shredded them. Like,
Really?
what do you mean, what am I fucking wearing? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That would be a tricky one because
He's very, very funny.
everybody's aware of their status and everything like that, aren't they?
I suppose so. But anyway, I think sometimes what they do is Jason was that as well. Like, they bring on a comedian who they know is a really good comedian. Would
John
not be
Bishop or Mickey Flanagan.
Yeah,
or whatever.
maybe John Bishop is more high
famous now, yeah,
is
okay.
more
Yeah,
high
yeah.
profile, but a comedian who's well known, but De Niro wouldn't know him or anything.
Yeah.
And they go, this person would be able to hold their own on that couch because they're a funny person.
Yeah.
And that's what a dinner party is. Dinner party isn't like, oh well, we all know who Tony is, and that's great. You have to have people who entertain.
Yeah. Would you like to do it?
I'd feel really nervous doing it.
Everybody would.
I'd feel really nervous. It depends on. If I was press ganged into that thing of that I'm pigeonholed into being an impressionist, I wouldn't like to do it.
Okay.
Because funnily enough, I don't find impressions that interesting, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's kind of a tool I use to do my shows.
Yeah.
And obviously Gift Grub is impressions based in the morning, but I don't find them particularly interesting. And I'm constantly retweeting great impressionists who I believe are far better than I am.
Right.
And I think they're great, but it's not. I mean, my
But is that because you can do it?
well, I can do it, but most of my time is spent writing. So I write sketches all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly writing for the new show. So I write stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't hang around in front of mirrors doing impressions of Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
Either I can do it or I just move on.
But is it one of those things where there's because you know you can do it, it holds no mystery? Whereas
Yeah, other people like it, yeah.
I look at someone who writes a song and I just go, my mind is blown by that because I just don't even know how to start.
Absolutely. You leave your private life out of stuff, don't you? Or do you?
Are you on stage?
Yeah.
I know.
Do you?
I talk about bits and pieces. Yeah.
Do you talk about do you? Because Dara, you know the way Dara O'Brien is. Dara O'Brien is like, anyway, Dara, we believe you're married. Anyway, the wall is a lovely colour.
Yeah. I know, but
but you're not like that.
No, I think I would talk about things in
Some people are allergic to bringing their family into anything. You know what I mean?
No, I've talked about my dad an awful lot.
Why?
Irish dad, because he's an Irish dad. He was very funny and he would do weird things and he also wouldn't mind me talking about him. So I suppose it depends.
Is that where you got your sense of humour from?
Well, he was the one who years ago I found him ripping his name and address off bills and letters he was throwing out, and I said, fair play to you, you're 85 and you still know about identity theft. And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm using somebody else's bin and I don't want to know who it is. And I went, this is going straight into a show.
Yeah.
And so he would do stuff like that, like all our dads do, but I suppose some people don't want to be spoken about, so you might right. I would respect that.
Yeah, well, my wife doesn't want to be spoken about, but I speak about her anyway.
Oh, okay.
But
that's not going to last.
Yeah, but you see, I speak about her in a way that
it could be anybody, or it's not necessarily believable. That's true.
It's people would go, are you sure you're serious about that?
Yeah.
In other words, it's not truly autobiographical, but I kind of land her in it.
Yeah.
So there's a line.
But people approach it in different ways. So Jimmy Carr used to have a wife in one joke and then a girlfriend in the next joke, and then and he would be gay in the next joke and a wife in so people went, oh, these are just jokes. None of this is true.
Yes.
Whereas if you were Kevin Bridges, whose whole thing is about his life and being authentic, you might be inclined to think, oh, that's true. So his wife might go, no, don't talk about me.
Did you meet Michael? We have something in common. You met Michael O'Leary as well. Did you had a funny interaction with Michael O'Leary? I'll tell you yours if you tell me mine.
Years ago I did a gig and he was the MC I was the MC and they went, here's his introduction. No, please don't mess with his introduction, he's doing the gig for free and all the rest, because it was around Mullingar. And I was absolutely, and I thought, I'm never going to get this shot again. And I was like, in 2000, it was in 1997. This was his introduction. In 1997, Ryanair ferried 5,000 passengers across Europe, and in 2007 they carried 20 million passengers across Europe. And I said, of those 20 million, 10 million got to the country they'd originally booked for. Yeah. And some got their bags back. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael O'Leary. And he gets up and he's roundly giving me abuse. It actually messing.
Yeah.
And then I get up and roundly give him abuse.
Right.
Now, his mistake was that I was going again after him. Do you know what I mean? But he took it really well. I mean, the dude was worth $500 million at that point. I think I'd take most things well if I had 500 million quid.
And I did their Christmas party this year.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I did their Christmas party, about 80 of them. right?
Including him.
Including him.
Okay.
And they arrive with 2 or 3 drinks on board.
Right.
And so it's
oddly enough, they wanted 2-drink minimum at the moment in the airport.
that was it.
Fine, yeah.
Well, that was it. That was a joke told.
Okay.
And so he gets up grabs the mic before me, right? And gets up and he went, "This guy's career must be down the toilet if he's doing Ryanair gigs." Anyway, cool. And he introduces me, right?
And you do him and destroy him.
Do him, but I was told beforehand, and as well, I took good notes with the guys. Don't just do him. Roast the others as well.
Right, okay.
And sometimes, in a way, the other management, it's even funnier to get them.
Right.
And then come back and do a bit on him,
Yeah.
do more on them. So
Yeah.
they all feel absolutely roasted.
Yeah.
And they actually feel part of a thing, you know. But it then turned out that he'd been at the same holiday place as me a few years ago. And he is Michael O'Leary. And I mean, like he is. My son was playing in the little football 5-a-side and he was
Yeah.
only 7.
Yeah.
And O'Leary's son was the same age. And we were both dads watching the kids play football.
Yeah.
Little referee from the hotel, like,
Yeah.
you know, blows the whistle on the turn. O'Leary comes running onto the pitch. "My son, that was not a foul." He's arguing with some British couple then about it there. "That fella Jason, right? He put the leg in. That was a late tackle." He's literally, that's how competitive he is. He was literally like that. Seriously, that's O'Leary, you know?
Really?
And then the next morning, I'm sort of nursing a mild hangover, and I see this guy like the Griswolds, right, in National Lampoon.
Yeah.
He's there with his snorkel, right, a huge thing around his head, huge flippers, big plastic things. "Right, get into that fucking pool." And he's marching them all out. 5 of them, you know. "Get in there." In other words, do it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we're on holidays now.
Yeah,
Be on
this
holiday.
is what we're doing now.
This is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There's a drive there that, explains a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And he's funny.
Yeah.
He's funny, I found it funny. He has a funny bone.
Yeah.
I think. What's next? What's ambitions? Because you might like to deny it, but I think you're ambitious, and I like ambitious, and I like, even though you're ambitious on your own terms, I think you're ambitious, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Oh yeah.
So what
I also don't care how you mean it.
and I like that you don't care.
No, but you get to a certain point in your existence, and you are concerned with more about, before people in your life, what they think. And I am ambitious for the work, I think, and I just got that from you, what you just said there about the impressions and the writing. You're ambitious for the work as well, because that's the only thing you can control. So you can't control if someone rings you tomorrow and goes, "I want you to be in the sitcom X, Y, and Z." You can't control it.
Yeah, and
it's
it's also the only thing that'll actually keep you at it.
Yeah, do you think of an idea and still get excited by the idea?
More than that.
Yeah.
I think of an idea, I write it down as quick as I can, then I record it.
Yeah.
But the biggest thrill is when I hear it at 8:10 the next morning on Irish radio, and I'm like a pig in shit.
Yeah, still exciting, isn't
I'm
it?
walking down the road with the headphones on, right? And the people are walking by me going, "There's something wrong with your man."
Yeah.
He's laughing his head off at his own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but the day you stop getting excited by an idea is the day you stop.
That's it.
And I still get excited by ideas. And what I do like about the UK is that there are so many different things. So there are so many shows on Radio 4 even. So you could do The Unbelievable Truth with David Micheal, where you write a lecture and you lie in the lecture. Or I'd love to do Would I Lie to You, actually. I'd like to do Would I Lie to You.
David Micheal.
Yeah.
In When I Lie to You.
Yeah.
Is one of the funniest things you can see.
And Lee Mack. Absolutely hilarious. And if you ever are sad or just having a bad day, watch Bob Mortimer.
I know, Bob Mortimer.
On Would I Lie to You. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Bob Mortimer is in a different level of psychosis.
Different.
Because they can't,
gravy.
He's insane, so they can't tell.
You can't control what he says.
You don't know whether an insane person is telling the truth or not.
Yeah, and I'm watching David Mitchell's middle class upbringing not be able to cope with this Middlesbrough wizard.
Also, there's something really funny about David Mitchell's accent and voice.
Yeah.
And the way he uses it, weaponizes it.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good.
Brilliant. Okay, let's finish up. Well done on the tour. Good luck on the tour. Good luck
Thank you very
on
much. So we're adding extra dates there, by the way. So we've added extra Vicar Streets and extra
Vicar
Every
Streets.
Man in Cork.
Great.
I'm doing the SSE Arena in Belfast, the ice hockey arena.
SSE Arena?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's an ice hockey arena, so it's literally cool.
No, but it's a big place.
Yeah, it's good. I've done it 2 or 3 times now.
Well done.
4 times now. So great fun to do. And so go to neildelamere.com to buy tickets.
Fantastic. And let's go out in a quiz question. Now,
Go on, so.
No, I don't have one. So let's say I'll give you one off the top of my head, but you have to choose your subject. So just see if I can even come up with one. What subject do you like? Geography.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Geography. What's the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
Yeah, fuck it. Okay.
It's the most Irish thing I've ever seen you do.
Okay.
The begrudgery of, he got it right.
You bollocks.
Fuck it.
Right, I've got a tough one for you.
Okay.
Geography.
Yeah.
And I only learned this the other day and I found it fascinating.
Okay.
Right, so, what's the Mercator principle?
It is.
He knows it. I'm brilliant.
Yeah, it's when you look at the map on a wall, it's wrong because of Mercator, who's a guy who designed the map, and basically it stretches the sizes of certain countries, and they're not represented accurately.
Good answer. Yeah. I think as well when the closer the countries are to the equator, the smaller the country is represented on the map because of the curvature of the Earth.
So he was doing it. So he was doing it as a navigation map.
Yeah. Greenland looks massive. And it isn't.
Yeah.
You could fit Greenland easily into the United States on a real map.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, you have to do this to me then. This is just a parlour game now.
Okay, a power game.
So it's a parlour game.
A parlour game. So I have to ask you a question.
Yeah, you have to ask me a question. So let me see. I could choose a subject. Music?
Music. Okay, so I know nothing about music.
Okay.
I will ask you. Okay,
football.
Who composed the William Tell Overture?
Rossini.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Football.
Okay. What is the highest ground in England?
Yeah, bollocks. Is it like the British Isles or England?
England.
England. Good. Oh shit.
I have to make sure this is the right answer.
Oh,
have you got access to the internet?
Something like Newcastle's ground.
No.
Go on.
I think it's West Brom.
Is it?
Yeah. I think the Hawthorns.
That's
We
good.
need to look it up now.
Anyway, we'll let the listeners look that up.
Okay.
Neil, thank you for coming in. Denil on the Head is the name of
the one after next
2028.
Yes.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks, man.
Well done.
And that is it. My thanks to Neil Delamere for coming in and talking to me on the Mario Rosenstock podcast, and I wish him well with Achilles Neil in his tour around Ireland and beyond. My special thanks as well to our sponsor, On Ice. Grab your tickets now, onice.ie, with venues all over the country: Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway and Waterford. Get out there. It's a great thing to do. Just check out onice.ie. And my thanks to you, of course, for being the great listeners that you are. And if you want to help me, just tell one other person about this podcast. Get in touch, mariorosenstock@gmail.com. I'm always reading the texts or the emails that come in. See you same time, same place next week.
The Mario Rosenstock Podcast with On Ice, Ireland's premium ice skating experience, where winter memories are made. Visit onice.ie.
GoLoud. Sounds better with us.